Zidane Danny, Electro Ninja here, and welcome back to Electro Ninja's Lab. In today's video, we are going to be talking about Furious Fu and Suhan specifically. For those of you who are unaware, yesterday basically when I'm recording this video, there was a new trailer about Furious Fu from Disney Germany. And basically, this trailer revealed that there was going to be a conversation between Marinette and Suhan. And I want to talk about this conversation because it actually means a lot for the series moving forward. A lot of people have been hating on Suhan, saying he's awful, blah blah blah, all this just bullcrap. The fact is that Suhan is not a bad guy. He is a guardian, and he was a guardian 200 years ago. Obviously, that's not completely accurate, but remember, it's been nearly 200 years since he held a Miraculous box, or since he gave Miraculouses to other people who would be ready to actually use them properly. That is something that I think is important that people realize, is that Suhan was not a guardian in our modern era. Times have changed drastically. Holy crap, things have changed drastically. Like, just in the past 20 years, so many things are insane. I mean, honestly, think about it. The LGBT community did not have any rights. In fact, they barely even existed 20 years ago. And not to mention technology. I mean, honestly, think about it. We barely had flip phones 20 years ago. And now we have basically full-blown computers just sitting in our pockets. These smartphones can do so much that most of us don't even think about how much smartphones can do. And honestly, just think about it. All of these different things that are around us. I mean, even my green screen, no one would have even thought up the idea 200 years ago. The fact is that things have changed very drastically. Yes, there were certain things that existed back then, but the fact is that times have changed a lot. And I think that that's something important that Suhan needs to understand. Times have changed. Situations have changed. There are new villains constantly. I mean, honestly, think about it. What we see in New York there are a lot of villains there, because otherwise there wouldn't be as many superheroes as there are. If there is such a demand for superheroes in New York as we see within the New York special, and honestly, it looks like there's going to be a demand for superheroes in Shanghai, honestly, think about that. There is such demand because there are so many villains that are just popping out of the woodworks now. And these are super powered villains. I mean, honestly, think about that. There is quite possibly the prospect of there being multiple heroes, all of these heroes from the past and stuff. They may have just been using these Miraculouses to fight regular people who were evil. But I mean, sure, there could have been some supervillains, but it would have been a much smaller degree than what we have now, because people need superheroes in the 21st century. And I think that that's something that he needs to understand. Nowadays, there are a lot of villains, and the fact is that if they're actually going to be able to handle it, maybe the Guardian needs to be able to hold a Miraculous and be able to stand and fight against these villains. But also, there's a lot to it. But honestly, think about it. So many things have changed, and he needs to understand that. He specifically lists a few rules as to that Marinette has been breaking. First off, that the Kwame should never live outside of the Miraculous box. Honestly, think about that. The Kwames have been stuck for thousands of years, maybe more. Maybe more than thousands, maybe millions of years, stuck inside of these boxes, and they couldn't see anyone? That is terrible. All they could see were other Kwamis. They couldn't interact with their guardian except for when they're being handed off to a miraculous holder. But the way that Marinette is handling them, letting them roam around her room, relax, be just regular people, that is something that is actually really special. They can finally be Kwamis and interact with the world. And yes, it can be dangerous, but it allows them to understand each other a bit more. And like I said, yeah, there are some issues there, but I think that that's fine. Actually helpful to a degree. And as for other people, um, there are just so many issues here, but the fact is that things need to be changed. And obviously, yes, losing a Miraculous is a bad thing. Losing a Kwame is a bad thing. Losing a box is a bad thing. But let's actually ask the question, why is it a bad thing for children to hold Miraculouses? He says, they are powerful jewels that allow you to that need to be able to be controlled, and a child cannot do that. We've seen how that works. We've seen that Kwame's powers are too powerful for a child to hold. And basically, they can only use their power one time, and then they have to recoup and be able to handle it again. But the fact is that before that, they couldn't. I think that it's important that people are allowed to learn. And children are actually the most pure people. I mean, sure, there are bad kids, but most of that is actually that's mostly due to parents. But most children are good at heart. And having them be the ones who are responsible, it helps them to learn. Honestly, yes, Marinette and Adrian are not the perfect options, but I think that that's not the point. The point is that they have grown to become the perfect options, and they will continue to grow to become the best options. And that is what Suhan needs to understand, and that is what he will understand by the end of this. Yes, he is currently holding the Miraculous box, but as he fights Marinette and Adrian, he's going to realize these kids are powerful and have done a lot for the city. Yes, they can't beat me, but I'm a guardian. I've done this stuff for a long time. But something they can do that I can't is actually handle akumatized villains and other super villains. The fact is that Suhan has trained to be able to take down Miraculous holders. He has not trained how to take down supervillains, while Marinette and Adrian have been. They have learned how to actually handle this, to understand that they need to actually save these people, to save people who are hurting. They know how to fix these situations, especially when dealing with an akumatized villain. And that is something that he's going to understand in Furious Fu. He's going to see that these two kids are able to handle things much better. And they know this world. I do think that he's going to be involved going forward, absolutely. But I don't think that he's going to be a guardian. He's going to be the Grand Guardian, obviously. But basically what he's going to be doing from here on out is that he would basically be Marinette's backup. He would basically be sitting, pretty much all he does is observe, watch them, and if they need help, he jumps in. But it's rare that he's actually going to be the one who needs to jump in. Pretty much what he's going to be doing is he's going to be the one who teaches Marinette how to properly use the Kwamis. He's going to teach her the rules, and Marinette is going to explain to him why certain rules don't actually work as well in the modern era, and help him to understand, okay, maybe we should change this rule. And as he learns from her and she learns from him, eventually he's going to be able to make notes in his rule book to then go back to the Miraculous Temple and to tell everyone, hey, the world has changed in the past 200 years. Maybe it's time that we change with it. And he's going to give them all of these different things that he's learned from Marinette to understand that the rules that have existed for hundreds of years, thousands of years, I guess, maybe millions of years, these rules do not work anymore. And they have to be changed to fit the modern era and to work with them. And occasionally, a guardian should be actually holding a Miraculous for themselves to use it to protect the world. Honestly, here's another thing to think about. We've seen Fu's past and seen that he has not used a Miraculous for many, many years. Up until recently, he didn't use any except for ways. I mean, honestly, think about that. He did not use he was following the rules. After he lost those first two Miraculouses, he started to abide by the rules and chose to keep those rules hidden, or keep those rules inside of him moving forward. When he went to when he was dealing with the chaos that was happening because of World War II, he specifically did not use a Miraculous. Instead, he moved forward and continued to keep them hidden. It wasn't until recently when he started to realize that times have changed and he needs to change with them. He probably did actually use a Miraculous at some point during the World War II to actually help to save a lot of people. I honestly believe that there is quite possibly a good chance that he used one of the Miraculouses to save at least an entire camp. I'm just saying, I absolutely believe that that was definitely a possibility. And from that, he learned that rules need to change. And he began to work through his own changes and understand, okay, sometimes rules need to be changed. And this is one of them. I'm just saying, it's quite possible. And also, here's another thing. I actually think that Fu is going to regain his memories. I'm not 100% certain, but I think that Suhan, when he sees Fu, when Fu wakes up and Suhan is there standing over him, he's going to realize that, you know what? He's been worthy. He's helped out so much. He's been doing this for years. Maybe it is time that he regained his memories, and then he'll restore the memories, and Master Fu will be able to go on with his life even still. I actually do think that Master Fu should go out and live the rest of his life with his true love, but I also think that there is something to him regaining his memories. And also, I would not be disappointed if he learned that he helped Suhan and Marinette a little bit. Not much, but maybe like he Skypes them or the equivalent. I know that Skype isn't a thing anymore, but maybe he contacts them some way and explains to them, okay, here's what I did for this rule. I changed this, that, and the other thing to make it work better for both me and the Miraculouses moving forward. I don't know. There's a lot to it, and I could see that happening, but I don't know. Anyways, guys, that's all that I have for today. I know I rambled for a bit, but yeah, I actually think that a lot of this has a lot to do with this character. And Suhan is going to be an extremely important character moving forward. But anyways, guys, let me know what you think down in the comments below. If you have thoughts or theories, make sure to leave them down there. And if you are going to leave a theory, make sure to say theory review. And of course, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and ring that notification bell. And of course, check back here tomorrow to see my thoughts on the latest episode of Miraculous. And yeah, also make sure to come back for more videos about other crazy things. And if you're not subscribed yet, no matter if you're new or not, please subscribe and ring that notification bell. It really does help us out a lot. And of course, if you if you do want to support the channel even more, then definitely head down to the description and check out all of our links down there, including our other channels, our social medias, and ways you can support us financially, including our Patreon, the book, and the merch store. And also a big thank you to our current patron, Sheeny. But anyways, guys, I have been Electro Ninja, and I will see you guys next time. But on!